In today's news, the BVI Red Cross celebrates its 65th anniversary with a commemorative license plate. Mr. Theodore John, a 2021 Red Cross volunteer honoree, joins us live. Nagico partners with Rotary Club of Central Tortola to deliver wheelchairs to the BVI Ports Authority and the Rise BVI to host Saltwater Games 2021. All this and so much more when 284 News returns.
The win.
What are the hell?
I'm freaking out.
Gender is about these people.
It's always a pleasure coming to you live and direct from the...
What's poppin'? What's really good?
Davis has won it for the Lakers.
Welcome everybody. It's Thursday, May 6th, 2021. I'm Ron Grant. We're coming to you live and direct from Tortola in the British Virgin Islands. A happy Thursday to one and all. Thank you so much for joining us. Before we get into our newscast, we want the public to know that on Monday, May 3rd, 2021, the BVI Red Cross launched its 65th commemorative license plate during the Red Cross Week of activities being observed from May 3rd to the 9th. Now, the commemorative plates are available for purchase in that special occasion where Mr. Gregory Skelton, Acting DMV Commissioner, Mr. Troy Christopher, Chairman of the BVI Red Cross, Ms. Stacy Lloyd, Director of the BVI Red Cross, as well as Governor John Ranking, the Honorable Kai Reimer, and the Deputy Governor of the Virgin Islands. Beginning on the local scene here in the BVI, Nagico Insurances has joined forces with the Rotary Club of Central Tortola to donate much-needed wheelchairs to the BVI Ports Authority. Mrs. Overleen Maynard, Acting Managing Director of the BVI Ports Authority, stated, and I quote, "As an organization, we at the BVI Ports Authority would like to express our deepest gratitude for your donation of wheelchairs. It has allowed us to ensure that persons who are impacted by a physical challenge have easier access when traversing through our ferry port facilities." Now, the 4 wheelchairs were handed over to the Cyril B. Rumney Tortola Pier Park on April 29th. Stacy Roberts, Nagico's Sale and Retention Manager, said that the company recognized the importance of the role the BVI Ports Authority plays in welcoming persons to our shores. She said, and I quote, "It is equally important that the BVI Ports Authority is able to facilitate movement of all passengers to ensure that this is done in a comfortable way with these wheelchairs, which these wheelchairs will allow for. This is yet another example of Nagico's commitment to serving the Virgin Islands," Roberts stated. President of the newly formed Rotary Club of Central Tortola, Nelsie St. John, said that members are eager to provide support and share in the development of the territory. She said, and I quote, "Once we learned that the BVI Ports Authority needed the assistance of securing the wheelchairs, we were able to get together with Nagico Insurance to ensure that we could provide the wheelchairs. As a new and dynamic club, we understand the importance of building partnership, and we are very pleased with the support we have received from Nagico Insurances for this venture." Continuing on, May is Mental Health Awareness Month. Celebrated in May is once again being observed. Its purpose, of course, is to raise awareness and educate the general public about mental illnesses such as persons who suffer from depression, schizophrenia, and bipolar disorder, the realities of living with these conditions, as well as strategies for attaining mental health and wellness. This year's theme is Tools to Thrive during COVID-19. I sat down with Dr. Virginia Rubain, Director of the BVI Mental Health Unit, to discuss the month of activities as well as coping strategies for persons during these very challenging times. Now, viewers, some of the activities they have planned for the month are a wellness fair on May 7th, a client movie date on May 21st, stakeholders educational session May 27th, and a fundraising walk-run on May 29th. Take a look at our interview.
Because we don't seem to be able to catch a break.
Yeah.
So we had the Noah and the Ark flood, we had the 2 storms of the century, and just as we were about to come back from that, we got slammed with COVID. And now that we're, adjusting to living with COVID, now we have another catastrophe in the Eastern Caribbean with La Soufrière. So I think a lot of people in our community, they're just languishing, not really depressed, but kind of over all the trauma and the drama. And I think we are hanging on as best as we could, but we need to do a little better. And I think this year's theme, Tools to Thrive, is so relevant because we need as many tools in our arsenal as possible in order to be able to continue keeping on.
You mentioned about us being able to possibly do better, and we need to do better. Before we get into the week of the month long of activities, how can we do better as a community, as a village?
Well, the first thing I tell my clients all the time, it's so imperative that we tell the truth. And one of the tools for this year's May's Mental Health Month is radical acceptance. We have to accept the reality that we're in. It's nice to think about the one that we would like to be in, but we have to interact with the world that we actually live in. And I see a lot of people avoiding the real world and entertaining what I like to call the matrix. So
Interesting.
they fall into the whole world of social media and they're not really participating actively in what's happening in the here and now.
When you think of social media, I must ask you, in the millennial generation, when we look at our society, we look at our young persons in particular who are facing a myriad of challenges, and not only young persons, but persons of age as well. What exactly should we be paying most attention to as a community?
I think the most important thing is for us to stay interconnected. I think what social media and other forms of technology has done is put degrees of separation between us. And so a lot of us are anonymous and we're online and we're giving our thoughts and our feelings. And there's no real consequence because we're anonymous. And I see people are reaching out less and less to each other and interacting less and less, particularly our babies who have been stuck at home because of COVID. I worry about their lack of interpersonal activities where they get to run, play, talk with each other. We're pretty much all talking to screens now, and we don't know what the longitudinal consequence of that will be. Will we be better people for it? Will we be more cold and aloof? Will we be more disengaged? So I think it's so important for us to stay connected as a community and not become apathetic because we're just totally overstimulated by the next disaster, whatever it may be.
That was Director of the Mental Health Unit, Dr. Virginia Rubain. Viewers, in case you missed the interview, the full interview is possible to be viewed at our website as well as our Facebook page. And still ahead, Rise BVI to host Saltwater Games 2021, a very exciting day for family and friends. All this and so much more after a word from our sponsors. We'll be right back. Viewers, welcome back. You're watching 284 News out of Tortola in the beautiful British Virgin Islands. Continuing on, Rise Foundation, the Rise Foundation, that is a non-profit organization here in the BVI that continues to strive towards creating an atmosphere where the young can realize and embrace as well as fulfill their true potential through faith, understanding, relevance, and of course, freedom of expression. Rise BVI is hosting the 2021 Saltwater Games on May 24th, which is the first of its kind, and it's set to bring families and communities together through sun, sand, and sea, and of course, sports. I sat down with Binta Jallo and Jovan Klein of Rise BVI to highlight this very exciting event, which is going to be on the 24th, which is a public holiday at Paradise Club at King Garden Bay. Take a look.
Water Games is going to be, just like you said, a fun-filled day. We will be having paddleboard races. We'll be having open swimming races, which just means it's swimming in the open sea. Open swimming races. We'll be having kayak races, and we will be having a sand sculpture competition. It's we among ourselves, we're very excited to see people come out and just sharing the joy and the camaraderie and the challenge of it all. We want to emphasize among all locals, and as we invite tourists back in and visitors back in, we want to emphasize the fun that you can have in the BVI. We want to emphasize activities that you can get engaged in the BVI. So we are very excited to see people come out. We have cash prizes specifically for the sand sculpture competition. Okay. We have a $500 cash prize for the winner. You can enter that competition as an individual or up to a team of 5. And, you take part. And on that day, whatever rules have to be outlined, we make sure that everybody outlines those rules. We make sure everyone stays safe. We'll be following the protocols that, we've all been taking part of to make sure that everyone stays safe and responsible. And it's all about having fun. It's all about getting engaged. It's all about showing people that, yes, we have been primarily left in a position where we have to remain in the BVI for a certain amount of time. But it doesn't mean that the fun stops. It doesn't mean that we are ultimately limited to experiencing the joy of just summer, the joy of the BVI. So we just want to bring that out in this event that we have.
What I would touch on it is a very important part is we just want to show that you can have fun in the most simplest ways. Because it's a lot of families as well. You can imagine coming with your with your family and your dad competing with the son or the mom competing with the daughter. So it fosters things within your own family. So we're encouraging everyone to come out, and I wish I could play. I wish I could play on the day. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So just come on out and we'll be there.
Sun, sand, and sea. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. Also, with each event, we have individual events where you can register individually, and then we'll have the relay events where you could enter with a team. So, for businesses and schools, not just, a group of friends, but, if your business wants to, stand out in the community or show, hey, we are out here to have fun with everyone, not just, provide a service, but to engage with everyone. We're inviting businesses and schools to come out and represent, have fun with your coworkers, have fun with the people that you service, so we can all just look at each other and say, we are a part of one community. We are a part of this, one BVI.
Viewers, that was Binta Jallo and Jovan Klein of Rise BVI. Of course, if you missed this very exciting interview with 2 of the territory's leading young professionals, you can watch it by viewing our Facebook page as well as our website at twit4media.com. Teachers and students of the Arthur Scatliff Primary School have received copies of the Virgin Islands Environmental Atlas as the National Parks Trust moved to supply some 200 copies to public and private schools across the territory of the Virgin Islands. Copies of the atlas were presented to the school on May 4th to provide teachers and students with the factual information they need about the different types of habitats, flora, and, of course, much more that can be found in the Virgin Islands. Director of the National Parks Trust of the Virgin Islands, Dr. Cassandra T. O'Neill, said the concept of the Virgin Islands Environmental Atlas dates back to 2002 when the then Chief Conservation and Fisheries Officer, Mr. Bertrand Letsom, presented the idea to the Virgin Islands Government National Geographic System Committee. Dr. O'Neill said, and I quote, "Work began on the atlas, however, for various reasons, a published version was never completed, and this was mostly due to funding. Fortunately for the Trust and the Territory in 2020, with funding from the Governor's Office, for this Trust, an update to the information and a completed version of the first Virgin Islands Environmental Atlas of the Virgin Islands was actually launched on December 11th of 2020. His Excellency, the Governor of the Virgin Islands, Mr. John J. Ranking, was also present at the handover ceremony and encouraged the students to preserve and protect the environment in which they live. Governor Ranking said, and I quote, "I hope that this Virgin Islands Environmental Atlas will be a tool for you to use and to encourage all of us and particularly yourselves as young people to help protect the environment. I say young people because you are the future of the BVI, and it is your job to persuade my generation and your parents and all the ministers here that we need to do more to protect our environment. Of course, Deputy Premier and Minister for Education, Culture, Youth Affairs, Fisheries, and Agriculture, Dr. the Honorable Natalio D. Wheatley, said that he was honored and proud to see that his alma mater was chosen to receive the first set of atlases. He said, and I quote, "The environment that we have here today, it is something that is very important to our survival as a human species, and we have to protect it." He added, "That's why we have Arbor Day, Environmental Day, and these types of other days to emphasize to you the importance of honoring, cherishing, and preserving our environment." Honorable Wheatley also said he was committed to the cause of ensuring that the atlas will be used for the benefit of the children in the education system, and he also expressed profound gratitude on behalf of the entire education system for the availability of this publication. Meanwhile, Minister for Natural Resources, Labor and Immigration, the Honorable Vincent O. Wheatley, encouraged the students to enjoy the environment of the Virgin Islands and to engage in activities including recycling, composting, and separation of waste. Honorable Wheatley expressed and extended thanks to Dr. Teatley O'Neill for her commitment and to her full team, the ministry, the bright persons who put this energy into this work and time into producing the atlas, and of course the governor's office for providing funding. He said, "We are on our way, but we are not there yet. Help us take care of our environment for our future." The Virgin Islands Environmental Atlas was produced with the collaboration of 39 local, regional, and international experts to help create a resource for schools and the general public. Now, the book also contains information about the biography of the Virgin Islands. Copies of the book are available for purchase for $25 from the National Parks Trust of the Virgin Islands main office on Main Street. Of course, additional copies are on the way for sale to the general public in the near future. Viewers, still ahead, Mr. Theodore John is a 2021 Red Cross Volunteer honoree, and he joins us live. All this and so much more after a word from our sponsors.
Gentlemen, aspiring gentlemen, and our partners that hold us down. It's season 2 of The Art of a Distinguished Gentleman, taking you on the most inspiring journey with the best and brightest distinguished gentlemen of the BBVI Raw, real-life lessons that translate to grounded, community-minded, well-rounded men like you've never seen them before. Governor Augustus J.U. Jaspert, Jovan Klein, Neil Klein, and so much more. Turning modern-day men into 21st century distinguished gentlemen with yours truly, Ron Grant, a 284 Media production. Is business slow? Cash flow down? Hosting an upcoming event? We can help. Advertise with 284 Media and take your business or event to the next level by enhancing your present marketing and messaging strategies. Allow our team of experts to create a personalized ad that sets your business apart from all the rest. This could be your business or event. So, what are you waiting for? Contact our marketing team at 284media at cctbvi.com. Advertising with us works.
Viewers, welcome back. You're watching 284 News. Thank you so much for sticking with us. The power of kindness can be traced back to the creation of the Red Cross movement. The British Virgin Islands Red Cross, established in 1956, is a branch of the British Red Cross National Society. Their mission, of course, is to mobilize the power of humanity so that individuals and communities have the capacity to prepare for, deal with, and recover from crisis. Their work is guided by the 7 fundamental principles of humanity, impartiality, neutrality, independence, volunteer service, unity, and universality. And of course, they are an auxiliary to the government of the Virgin Islands in the humanitarian services. Now, community outreach programs range from activities such as disaster preparedness and risk reduction, providing first responders at community events such as sporting activities, registering for blood donors, training in first aid, child sexual abuse prevention, and basic nursing care, in addition to so much more. Now, this year marks the 65th anniversary of the BVI Red Cross, and among a week of activities observing throughout this week from May 3rd to the 9th, the BVI Red Cross is taking the time to honor over 60 volunteers who have contributed selflessly to the territory over the years, and particularly through the global pandemic that is COVID-19. Joining me this evening, viewers, is Mr. Theodore John, a longtime Red Cross volunteer and one of the 2021 Red Cross honorees, being lauded for his significant and selfless contributions. Mr. John, welcome to 284 News. Thank you so much for your time.
Good day. Thank you, Ron. It is a pleasure to be here. I am Theodore John, volunteer at the Red Cross, and it is a pleasure to celebrate 65 years of service in the Virgin Islands.
Indeed it is. Now, Mr. John, can you tell us how long have you been a volunteer and a part of the BVI Red Cross movement?
Well, I began my tenure or my vocation with the Red Cross since 1996. So that gives us about 25 years of service.
Wow. And what does it mean to you to be a Red Cross volunteer?
It is a special privilege to be able to touch lives in different ways. And I have done quite a lot in terms of volunteering with the Red Cross, starting off with basic first aid at sporting events, and then going into first aid training, disaster management and preparedness, and also HIV peer education, along with helping out with the juniors, which was a Red Cross program at the high school level, and the Red Cross Kiddies program, which was at the primary school level. So I've been in Red Cross for so many years and have contributed in different ways.
Now, when you look back at the past 25 years of you being a part of the Red Cross movement, what are you most proud of?
I'm most proud of the development of the Red Cross movement on a whole in the Virgin Islands. I remember coming from the small building and to see it today develop in a full functioning facility where we cater for the needs of our society. So the partnership with different organizations is important, and also the people that you meet on a daily basis who recall services you provide for them. Sometimes you forget the many faces and names, but they remember being touched by you.
Indeed. Now, I want you to share a little bit about what the past year has been like in the BVI from your perspective as a volunteer as it pertains to the needs of the community during the global pandemic that is COVID-19.
It has been very challenging. From the onset when we had the initial lockdown, there was a need for food items, and Red Cross was one of the facilitators of that program, partnering with the government and the Department of Social Development, along with other agencies, including the Family Support Network and other organizations like the Lions. We basically work in partnership with those organizations to collect information from families in need, collect the resources, the food materials, sort them, pack them, deliver to all cracks and crannies in the Virgin Islands. There are places that I didn't even know existed, but we found the people where the need was. So it was a bit challenging, even in terms of preparing ourselves mentally, and not just mentally, but personal protection. We had online training as volunteers to prepare ourselves for what was out there. We did training in terms of COVID-19, how to protect ourselves, protect others, and different measures to take into consideration. But
amazing.
There were many people out there who were in dire need, and we tried our best. It was difficult because of so many families reaching out, but we tried our best to reach those in need.
Now, as you reflect on that, for persons in the community who may be wanting to contribute to the BVI Red Cross and the needs, what are some of the major needs when it comes to the community?
We are always looking for volunteers first and foremost, because the volunteers are part of the engine room of the organization. We are the workforce that gets the jobs done. So if you have the time, you can sacrifice some time to volunteer your services. If you have the talents that we're looking for in terms of communication, anything that can help with our services that we provide, We also look for donors if you have the treasure, the money or any materials that we need to conduct our services. We ask that you just be a bit, generous in your giving of your time, your talents, and your treasure.
Okay. Now you, among others, many others are being honored this year, over some 60 persons. How does it feel to be recognized for your selfless and significant contributions?
It gives me a great sense of pride to be recognized in this fashion. I know you can never repay the type of service you give, but to be mentioned among the others who have contributed so much to the territory is something special. But what I look forward mostly to is not the accolades that come along with it, but the people who meet you on the street daily or whenever they meet you and you have done something, and like I said, you forget the names, the faces, but they remember when you have done something that either saved their life or helped them better in a situation that they felt that they were hopeless. So the people who meet you on the street and thank you sincerely, that is what I look forward to.
Amazing. Can you speak finally to the significance of the role of the BVI Red Cross to this territory?
We know that Red Cross does a lot of great things in times of disasters, emergencies, any form of crisis, any need that the society may have. We provide services, first aid, disaster preparedness, just to allow the effects or lessen the effects of any emergency, any crisis, any pain and suffering by any individual or family in our society. The Red Cross is always there to use our resources effectively to look after the needs of those who are most vulnerable.
Theodore, thank you so much for your time. On behalf of my team here at 284 Media, we'd like to thank you for your significant contributions in serving the BVI Red Cross and by extension the territory of the Virgin Islands. You have served for some 25 years and we are this week celebrating the 65th anniversary of Red Cross, an organization that has truly continued to shine and be of utmost benefit to us here in the territory, particularly in times of disaster and crisis. You and your team, your colleagues continue to come out and show up and show out and be there for our territory. And we'd like to personally thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Ron. It's a pleasure to be here too.
You're most welcome, viewers. That is all the time we have. Be sure, however, to check us out on Facebook at 284 Media. In addition to that, 284media.com for all your daily updates. We are so honored always to be bringing you the daily happenings, both locally, regionally, and internationally. I'm Ron Grant. It's always a pleasure. We'll see you again tomorrow as we deliver your daily dose of local, regional, and international content. We're 284 News, your source for honest and impartial news right here on 284 Media out of the beautiful British Virgin Islands. Happy Thursday to everyone. Have a good rest of the day. Bye-bye.